We're live from 304 Studios in Jonesboro, Arkansas. This is an Stspod production. I'm BT, and the guy over there, I don't know what he put on there, John Kemp Cougar Melon. And by the way, my cam's doing something weird. I'm going to have to buy a new one. That guy over there, he's never been called normal. That's why the girls called him Fun Size back in the day. He is from Chicago, the home of the best damn pizza in the world. The snark of excellence, my partner in crime. He is your friend and mine, Lance Levine. How the hell are you, Lance?
I am in the Thanksgiving dinner studios here in Chicago.
Woo! Yeah, right, buddy. Yeah,
we got us some sweet potato pie and some raccoon stuffing and all the good stuff.
Oh, it ain't nothing like coon stuffing, baby. Woo!
Wait, that's what she said.
Episode 655.
Holy
We're rolling
shit.
them out, brothers. 655. This is episode 35 of Dyn-O-Mite. And Lance, tell them we had the record store for one of my favorite artists of all time.
The record store sponsored by All the Right Notes. You can get it on Amazon.com. And this week it is a John Cougar Mellencamp episode.
Melon.
John Camp Cougar Melon. That's my name on this episode, my honorary name on this episode, because John Cougar Mellencamp, a really underrated performer, and you and I disagreed about whether
I
he
don't
was
think
under
he's
the radar
underrated. I just think he's got a huge fan base. That's why I didn't say that. He still has so many fans, and I love John Mellencamp. I love this album, by the way.
It reminded me how much I did appreciate him back in the day, and he's done a dozen albums since the 2000s have begun. So
he still does it.
But it's a function of the fact that there's hardly any rock radio, so you don't hear any of his stuff these days anywhere. But guy's still producing, and this album that we did was a really good one. So I really
big fan of
guys.
Seen him twice at concert. One time he played for over 3.5 hours. Just him.
Wow.
Started in Memphis on stage with Heartbreak Hotel. So that was just awesome. Just awesome.
One of my favorite regrets in music is not having seen him.
Elvis is behind you. Elvis is behind you.
He's right there. Yeah, that's the Reese's Elvis.
Excellent.
Reese's peanut butter and banana Reese's peanut butter cups, if you can see that.
Here's what I like about, and that's all we're here to do is talk about John Mellencamp. But here's what I like about John Mellencamp is that he was one of those artists that decided he's making albums for himself.
Yeah.
And if the fans don't like them, you don't have to buy them. So that's pretty much what he did. There's a lot of guys like that, and I love that. He's a painter now, by the way. Have you seen those paintings? They're just
I don't know if they're any better than John Gacy's paintings, but he paints.
Oh, they're scary looking. Yeah.
So.
All right, let's get started talking about the record store. No, I'm sorry.
We should talk about wrestling. This is the wrestling.
By the way, real quick, Patreon, by going to stspod.club, and the link of all links on the right side of the page. Come on, guys. We need some more Patreon people. Lance has said on Patreon, he will show his tits if you subscribe tonight. I'm just
Oh, my goodness.
All right, let's get started, brother.
Not for the kiddos. This is not for the kiddos already.
Not for the kiddos. You know, we do hits, misses. We do MVP. What do we look forward to? Next week's TV show and must see. And this is Dyn-O-Mite for full gear. Come on, talk to me, brother.
Is it a round table or is it more of a 2x4 this time?
With me and you, it's a square table.
So, it's like an oblong table or something because just the two of us.
My camera keeps jerking. I think it's adjusted with all this beauty.
Are you sure it's the camera that's jerking?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell.
Oh, man. Can I get some Windex for my screen? I don't know what just happened there. So, all right. So, we should talk about the hits first, right? Isn't that
Let's go. Hits first.
I've stolen the idea of a list from Richard, our friend Richard at P3 Radio. So, I have a list. It's actually not a really long list this time. So, my hits, let's see. Got Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Now he's officially known as Jungle Boy Jack Perry. He busted his ass in that match. He bladed. I don't know how many times he bladed in that match, but he was the prototypical Crimson Mask So I gave that match 4 stars. He took that rough-ass bump at the end off the top of the cage that he barely connected with the table. So it looked like he killed himself on that. So that's one of my hits. Jade Cargill's gear. We're going to talk about Jade's gear throughout this episode because it makes numerous appearances. It is one of my hits. As a dude, it's one of my hits because she had trouble keeping that gear on during the pay-per-view.
You criticize somebody for saying penis in a rap song, but all you want to talk about is nip slips. Good. Come on,
lady. What can I say? So, and then I had Sting on my list. The guy continues to produce. They use him perfectly. I thought they used him again perfectly in this match. They put the belt on Sting.
Yeah,
you've heard of him, Steve Borden.
Yes.
He continues to produce. The guy is old as can be, and he continues, and like I said, I think they use him perfectly. They disguise his shortcomings at his age in these matches. They put the belt on Jamie Hayter. I thought they perfectly timed that. They struck while the metal was hot on that. Moxley not selling the water being squirted in his eyes at the end. I thought that was great. But my number one hit for the paper was this is Kerry Wayward's son introducing the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega back into AEW. That match brought the life back to AEW for me. I had been, I was like many other people starting to really check out on AEW, and it's a lot of its luster for me. And that match, all in one moment, that match brought me back almost entirely because so good, 5 stars. Give me Nick Jackson and Nick. That's what I want. Give me those two guys and that chemistry that they have in a title feud. I thought that match was great. The introduction of them back into the scene was great. Use the actual song by Kansas was great. I loved it. I thought that match was phenomenal. It was my biggest hit of the night, my friend.
All right, my hit's Jungle Boy.
Why don't you tell us your hits, Brian Trammell?
Jungle Boy Jack. That's what I'm calling him. Jungle Boy Jack Perry. With the elbow for the top of the cage. Absolutely loved that. Kenny Omega looked fantastic.
Yep.
Finish of the trios match was a huge surprise for me. I thought it was a excellent match. Awesome. Paige, who I still call Paige, it was not a 5-star match at all, but good to see her back. Man, that's a feel-good story for me. Don't even say anything. And Jeff Jarrett, my buddy Jeff Jarrett, have I told you Jeff knows who I am? Wait. You know Jeff knows who I am, right? Well, I'm not going to play a clip. I always do.
Pat
Jeff Jarrett looked...
Yeah, Pat Trammell.
Yeah, he looked fantastic. Little things that...
Hit row.
The little things that were awesome. You mentioned Sting. Did you notice that... At first I said, why is Sting in just solid black with not his shirt on, or why was he like that? It was just a tiny bit because all those guys around the ring were dressed in just solid black. So when Jarrett turned around, he was supposed to see one of his guys, but it was really Sting, which I wrote right here. His name was String. So that must have been one of those outside the ring. String was outside the ring. Jamie Hayter, yes, looked very good. Very good match.
Heard that a lot from other people.
And I love the fuck you Moxley chant. Absolutely loved it. I loved him being the fan really just the fans healing on him. So that was my hits right there.
Yeah.
What you misses, brother? What you misses?
Right, so
come on,
Dad.
I got my buddy Rhino JB. Boy, he knows how to roll
next
through
on
this.
On the format, I think that's next on the format. The misses, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
So we'll go on the misses. Okay, so I made a list. I'm sure you're going to be surprised, but I have a list
hold
that
on just a minute.
WWE no longer has.
You do know that's what we do on these shows, right? We have a list of hits, misses, MVP. Forget it. All right, go ahead. Misses.
There's a format I'm supposed to
What's
follow.
your misses?
So WWE no longer has a monopoly on the front row dipshits because there's dipshits in lame jackets in the front row at AEW. Moxley
How dare them have fun?
What the fuck was that? We don't. Come on, dress the part. You're in a world title match. No sweatpants in a main event. I didn't like the Lord Steven Regal turn because I felt it was unnecessary and it was very Russo-ish.
Russo? Where did you get that at? Hey, is this Lance?
Russo,
really
because that turn just did. Didn't need to happen. Vince Russo, that was a Vince Russo kind of turn. It didn't need to happen. It was just for shock value. I didn't appreciate it. I thought it just didn't work for me. Jim Ross, our friend Jim Ross, with the term wherewithal. There is no such word as wherewithal, and you used it multiple times throughout the broadcast. So the other thing I complained about, and I told you about this on the side, Jim Ross talking nonstop on this
I agreed with you. You sent me a text. You said no spoilers, but I just want you to...
Boy,
shut up. Very much so.
He just wouldn't shut up. Yeah, it's like, and I told you, you talk about this all the time about, you're an insider, and you say how the guys, the really good wrestlers, like you always mention Randy Orton, they know what to do in between the moves, and they make it special. Jim Ross, let it breathe. You don't have to talk the entire match. Every split second he was talking. So that was on my list of misses. I would have liked to see a double turn with Britt and Paige, or whatever the fuck her name is, Saraya. The fans want to cheer Britt. The fans want to love Britt. And at some point, she's obviously going to have to turn. I really thought that was the moment for a double turn right there, because there's something very dislikable about Paige. I'm sorry. I thought they dropped the ball on Hobbs. I thought pulling the belt off of Wardlow, I mean, they've really dropped the ball on Wardlow. But I thought in that moment, and I like Samoa Joe quite a bit. I've liked him for many years. But there was no need to put a belt on Samoa Joe. You're 100%
right there. There's no reason. No reason.
Yeah, I mean, fucking Wardlow was super hot 6 months ago. He's cooled down. If anything, put that belt on Hobbs and give Hobbs a chance to run with it. I mean, there's just no reason to put it on Joe at that point. The Jarrett match, which you mentioned, which I did enjoy that match, it was a street fight. Why were they enforcing tags? It was a street fight. There's no need for tags in that match. I thought that was weird. Tony Storm is cold as ice. I think that they've showed that they don't know really how to push some of the women. They bring in these women that are super hot and super big names, like Tony Storm. They did the same thing with Ruby Riott and Ember Moon, too. And they get one match, and then that's it. They're just ruined after that. Tony Storm is as cold as can be. The Swerve and Lee split, I'm glad that finally happened. I don't know why they fucking teased it from the second match that those guys were put together as a team. They repeated the Pliers bit. The Hammer bit was earlier on the same show. The Pac trying to get the other Phoenix to use the hammer. He wouldn't use the hammer. Then Swerve is trying to get Keith Lee to use the pliers, and he won't use the pliers. I'm like, quality control, guys. It's the same fucking show. So, my number one miss. I know I had a lot of misses. My number one miss, I referenced it in my hits. Jade Cargill's gear is my biggest miss. Because Jade Cargill, I think the world of her. I think she's a great character. She's a great persona. But she's not a great wrestler. She needs a ring general in a match. She cannot wrestle a match with Nyla Rose and expect it to be a good match. She needs to be in there with Serena Deeb. She needs to be in there with Eva. She's already not a very good wrestler. Then she was so worried about losing her top and like the gear getting fucked up. She was completely out of her element. That match sucked. I said in our thread that was a worst match of the year candidate right there. That was a terrible match. And like I said, she is a good enough character that if you hide her deficiencies, she's an entertaining performer. She's come a long way. I don't know how much better she's going to get. But that match with Nyla was the shits. It was terrible. And that, like I said, as much as I liked her gear as a dude, that gear ruined that match even worse than it would have been. So those are my misses.
All right, not as many misses.
Tell me what yours are.
Not as many misses for me. I think JR's too much. That's what I wrote. I agree 100% with you. Yeah. He's talking really crazy. He's got to say something every time somebody says something. Fucking hate it. I'm just so sick of him. He was such a good announcer.
Slow down. And he's not normally like that. Yeah, exactly. He was the best. He was my favorite.
He got that bump before the... No, I didn't. Allegedly got that bump. Cage match... As the first match, it was kind of weird for me. I liked the match, don't get me wrong. I just thought it was weird. Yeah. I agree with you 100%. They should not pull. I actually thought they should have kept the belt on Wardlow, but I had 3 or 4 people text me and say Hobbs. So they should have done it with Hobbs.
Why not? Why not?
Jay, she's just god-awful, man. She looks good. She's okay on the microphone, but she is just... And I don't know who put that match together for them, but that was like, they try to get so much shit in it. It's like you said, don't do anything in between stuff. And also, I just hate the idea. Not that I hate that Steven Regal turned. What I hate is everyone turns. It's like everyone that's a group always. AEW's horrible about this. There's always one guy who's going to turn against everybody. It's every pay-per-view, every TV show. It's almost like, we had Joe turn against Warlock, and then we had, constantly there's a turn. That's one thing. But the worst thing on the show, my number one miss, as you like to say, your number one miss, was that stupid Wayward Son song coming out and them lip syncing it. I love that song, but they ruined it. We say it's runt now. That's what we say in the South. Runt. They were lip syncing it like a bunch of little fanboys. That was horrible, horrible, horrible. And you ate it up. You were sitting over there. Woo! The Young Bucks!
I believe if you ever read all the right notes, that you know that Kansas was my very first concert that I saw.
I have read it. I read it. By the way, I've read it.
I love. I know. Yeah. You helped me edit it. So
when you read a book five times, you got to like it somehow. You got to like it. So okay, buddy.
That song is phenomenal.
Great
love that song.
But they ruined
it got me as soon as it came on.
The song's ruined now. It's ruined. Who is your MVP for the night?
All right, so despite the popular speculation, Jade Cargill Seamstress is not my MVP on this. Max Caster is also not my MVP. Although, I will give him credit. He did not do any rap about Jay Leno's burns or Jim Ross's Bell's palsy. So
he didn't say anything about a penis.
Credit that he didn't do that. He is the dirt worst. But anyway, so my MVP is a tie, as it usually is. And I referenced it earlier. It's Nick Jackson and Phoenix. I just think those guys in the ring together at the same time is just spectacular. It's just spectacular. It's their chemistry, the way they work together. It's amazing. And Phoenix, both of them obviously are supreme talents. But Phoenix is just one of my
You're not saying it right. It's not Phoenix.
Phoenix. So we'll have to ask X the next time.
You are right. Those two guys in the ring, it just reminds me of, he reminds me a lot of Ricky Morton. He really does, in the sense that he could take a beating and he always comes back. Mm-hmm. Both Jacksons are like that. I was looking at I hated that song, but I was looking at them during the show and always listening to the back of my mind sometimes when Cornette talks about, they're not believable because they're just these little tiny baby faces. Did he ever see the Rock and Roll Express? How many times, if you go back and look at them, they are exactly what they are. And did you ever see the Fabs, the way they dressed? And they were, they dressed worse than the Young Bucks did, but they were still, everyone considered them. So this team will always, until one of them breaks their neck, is going to be one of the top teams. Yeah. I can see why you gave it to those two guys. You're going to hate me for giving the MVP who I'm giving it to. You're going to hate me because you hate her for some reason. It's Paige. I'm giving a MVP to Paige. She gave me that CM Punk feeling coming back with a big injury, and she's back in the business. I love Paige, always have, even after seeing her films, especially that one she made with one of the New Day there.
Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods. Paige is my MVP. Xavier. Hold on, just let it.
So that's it. Okay, no, I was just going to debate that with you a little bit.
Look, it's my MVP.
It's an interesting choice. No, I'm going to give it to you. Interesting choice. I don't hate her. I just think that there's something about her personality and her voice.
She can be a hell of a heel. You're right about that. You're right about that.
I think she just has a natural, we say that about Miz is a natural heel and MJF is a natural heel. I think Paige, to me, is a natural heel. Obviously, there's the feel-good story right now because she came back from the injury. She's been out for 3-4 years, whatever it was. Interesting choice. I didn't think that match sucked. I thought that match was
gave it 3 stars. It wasn't a real good match. No, the girls, we'll talk about our must-sees in a little bit. But, yeah.
when you compare the 3 girls matches, that was in the middle for me because the Jade match was just like I said, an abortion.
I gave it a dud, it was.
The Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter was a very good match. I thought for the girls, I thought that was slightly better than Paige and Britt.
All right, hold on.
But yeah, interesting choice. I'm not going to fight John. I think it was
Paige.
the
All right,
story.
so that was our MVPs. Real quick business note: we will be having Rolling Into Memphis this Saturday. We're going to be revealing a new logo. My buddy Rhino JB is not going to be in town, and I have T-Bone, Terrence Ward. That will be our last. Have I told you? That's our last episode of November 2022, and we'll return December the 3rd for another episode of Rolling Into Memphis. We do this every November, the last week of the month. We try not to do much. The offices are closed on the last week of November, and we do the same thing in December. Before we go,
I might do a couple extra. I'll do some extra record stores.
In December, guys. I'm glad you mentioned the record store. Remember what we did last year?
Yes,
Christmas album, and it was one of the biggest downloaded episodes of the year because I guess everyone wanted to hear about a Christmas album, so we have to do a Christmas album.
I have a couple others. Yeah,
it just was a big deal. So, all right. So, what do you want to see?
Yeah, I'll do that
on this week's Wednesday night. And where are you going to be, Lance? Wednesday night.
What am I looking forward to
tonight?
Before I get to what I'm looking forward to, I got one more fun fact about Paige. You know, she's never had any work done.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
That. So, all right. She told us that in Memphis. What am I looking forward to? I am going
Memphis with Paige?
Memphis multiple times. Nashville, whatever, same thing. Anyway, so what am I looking forward to? In a few hours, I will be at Dynamite, and it's amazing that as of the last, the last month, I haven't been all that enthused about going to this show.
Oh.
And now I'm enthused about going to this show because AEW has kind of reeled me back in a little bit. So what am I looking forward to about being at Dynamite tonight? I'm looking forward to seeing how the Elite is received.
Oh, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting.
I want to see I'm not going to say if there will be CM Punk chants. There will be CM Punk chants. I want to see how many. I want to see when it happens. I want to know how loud they are. I want to witness all of that. I want to take all of that in. I'm also just in the big picture. I'm looking forward to the cancellation of Max Caster because he's a dick. He's an asshole. I hate the guy. I want him to be canceled.
I'm going to delete. I'm deleting all that out. So by the way, I don't care. I'm deleting.
But what I am looking forward to the most is the Best of 7 series that begins tonight at Dynamite. They will go 7 because there is no Best of 7 series in professional wrestling where it doesn't go 7. So they will go 7. I don't know which way it'll go first, where the Lucha or the Death Triangle get the first couple, and then the Bucks have to fight from behind and come back.
So they got the first match.
Well, okay.
They got the first.
So, and, you got to have the baby faces obviously fighting to come back and pull ahead, but I know it's going to go 7, so I'm not worried about that. But what I'm looking forward to is how will they keep it fresh?
Yes,
how
that's
will
what
they
I
keep
want
it new and a different match every time? I trust those 6 guys that it will be kept fresh and it will be entertaining all throughout all 7 matches. So I'm looking forward to the Best of 7 series between the Elite and the
I'll give you a. I'll just piggyback you on that one. I'm excited about it.
Do not piggyback me in public, Mike.
Your back is strong enough.
No, not
Your
in
back
public.
is strong enough.
Absolutely
you saying I'm
not.
fat? Is that what you're saying? Don't let me take that shirt off. Don't let me take my shirt off for Patreon. Trios matches. I'm just like you, man. But I wrote this. Are we going to get tired by the end? And then I started thinking about these guys. They're so fucking smart. All 6 of them are. They're such good workers. You know what I would do? I would just do an old school. Somebody gets heat. They get a hot tag. Boom, boom, boom. It's over. I mean, not a bunch of special hot moves. Just do different styles of matches like that. It would be fun to see them do it. Also, Jericho's going against your man, Ishii, baby. He's going against Ishii right there. Ishii. That's right. And MJF. I'm excited to see him walk out with the belt to see what they do with him. So awesome. All right, all right, your turn.
He'll get
your
over
turn
huge.
again.
He'll get over huge in Chicago. He was already well liked.
Yeah. What's your must see on this pay per view? If you was going to choose,
see, I mean, come on, you might as well predict it. You might as well predict it for me. No, it is not Jade Cargill's gear, although that's in my running. I think I mentioned Jade Cargill's gear on every category that we covered here. But no, it's obviously
that or Max Caster. So I don't know which one you have a bigger crush
just
on.
A phenomenal,
Max or Jade.
No, I abhor Max Caster. Do not even go there. So my top of the list was the H4-way, the Jericho, Sammy, Cesaro, and Bryan, whatever you want to call them all. That match was excellent. I gave that 4.25. It was an excellent match, but it just, I don't know, it didn't resonate. It wasn't memorable to talk about after the show or anything, but an excellent match. I had the Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus as 4 stars.
I did too.
Cage match. Those were my highest rated matches. But yeah, overall, if you're only going to watch one, it's got to be the Young Bucks match.
I got to give it. Here's my 3. I'm going to go ahead and do 3. Young Bucks, if you're only going to watch one, just like Lance said, total different kind of match. I know if you don't like Flippy Floppy, you're not going to like it, all right? So don't watch it. Don't criticize it. Don't watch it. ROH title 4-way, very smart match. If you are an independent wrestler and want to learn how to do a 4-way match, watch this match. There's usually only 2 guys in the ring at the same time. That's what they do. That's a smart way of doing it. And also, you know what? One of my third favorite match was the Storm Hater match. I absolutely loved that match, and I didn't see Storm as cold, and I'm going to tell you why. I didn't see it until you said something, but the reason why is I'm not going to hate to admit this, but I fast forward through the girls on AEW. I'm just not interested, but these 2 girls have worked each other before in Stardom. They knew each other real well. They was able to put together a really good match. I liked all the finish and what had happened. I'm kind of interested to see what they do with it. Hater had her, what do you call this, a coming out moment? Do you think so? That was her coming out moment?
Yeah.
And it looked real good. So I'm excited to see if they go ahead and push her toward Thunder Rosa. Are we going to see her against Britt finally? But we go back to maybe she'll get some pliers out, Lance, and then Britt will try to do pliers on somebody's teeth, and then, everybody's turning it.
No, we had a hammer and we had pliers, so we got to move on to another tool. It's everybody's be a saw turning or an Allen wrench or something. So we need more tools in AEW. So overall, I mean, that show was a thumbs up. There was definitely some, again, a little bit on the long side. It felt a little bit long.
No, it didn't to me this time. No,
but there was only a couple, like the Britt and Paige, I only gave it 2.5.
Yeah.
It didn't do all that much for me. But that Nyla match was just so bad. Those were the 2 worst matches on the show. But overall, thumbs up. I thought they got their mojo back a little bit. Not Mojo
I don't
Rawley.
know. I don't know if they did or not. We'll see. What I want to see is with the trios match, or whether, you said something about moving the needle again. And then someone else had mentioned to me about when they come back, blah, blah, blah. It is going to, and I'm not a ratings guy, but it's going to be interesting whether the fans really cared or not. And we'll know this first week, maybe they'll see a bump. And I mentioned this to you and one of my friends at work. We had one of the worst. Their ratings were down. No one cared about the pay-per-view, it didn't seem like. I think it's going to be one of their least bought pay-per-views. But it'll be exciting to see whether... I have that prediction. They're never going to get over. I've said this 100 times. They're never going to get over this hump of the 1.2 or the 1.3. That's just their core audience. That's who's going to watch their show. And people disappear all the time. Dave did a really good piece on how the people that bought the pay-per-views didn't buy all of them, which is kind of weird. It's like they still had 100 and something buys, but it wasn't the same 100 and something thousand people. So that's not a good thing. You watch it, then you're leaving, and you come back, you leave. with the WWE, you have something that people are sticking with. Well, because it is a lot cheaper than what they're doing, but it is it's exciting. I mean, I did love the trios match. Did it put a shot in the arm for me like it did you? No, I don't think so. And I still will go to fast forwarding most of the stuff and then watching what I really want to see. So that's it, guys. Anything you want to add?
I think. Yeah, I just want to say, in terms of the ratings for Wednesday, you got two opposing things. You got the interest in the pay-per-view that would drive people to it, but then also it's the night before Thanksgiving, so people are out partying and stuff. So I think that's going to offset. No, it is. They say it's the biggest party night of the year is the night before Thanksgiving. So, I mean, I think that's some of their core audience is that demographic. So I think that the ratings will actually be average.
Pre-Thanksgiving. That's so weird.
That's what these kids these days.
Them young whippersnappers.
That Wednesday night, Black Wednesday as they call it, is
racist.
A big party night.
So
anyway, so I think the ratings will offset. It'll be an average show for them, but there's no giant sports competition.
It'll be exciting to see what this 7 does. Whether we can come back and talk about it. It might be something to do a Dynamite on the best of 7 on the 7th day and see what we thought about the whole thing. All right, guys, same bad time.
Good idea.
Same bad channel on the best Little Wrestling podcast in the business.
In business. Be there.
Be there. And as everybody knows,
I love my
mama and Max Caster. Yeah. Woo!
Oh my goodness. I have fun everywhere I go, and I will have fun in a matter of hours.
Chicago, baby.
In a matter of hours at Dyn-O-Mite.
Chicago.
That's right. I'll have some pizza for
Chicago. Oh, String. String was an all black. String.
I might do a rap about penis. We have our blooper for next year.
Oh, man. All right. Set tight. Patreon. We're not doing much tonight. We're running late because we had technical difficulties. I appreciate it. Tell a friend about Patreon. Dude, I sent you a free t-shirt after you've been a member for a certain amount of time. We lost a couple of big members this past month, and I mean, I understand it's getting close to Christmas, but it's $5.
Big members.
So we lost a couple of big members.
How did you know they are?
Hey. But if I have to, I'll start showing my butthole right here on Patreon if I have to.
No,
you don't have to
I'm
watch
covering the camera. I don't want to see that.
They'll cancel us for sure if we do that. All right, man. Thanks a lot. Stay with me just a second after I end the recording.